Well, Ferguson, Arthur Jenkins, I'd like to compliment you on the great season you're having. Of course, you've had a lot season and start of it all. Does this have any effect on you? I know you're going to be the first pitcher probably to win 20 games 2 years in a row for the Cubs since the 30s.
Well, I hope I win 20. I'm not sure. I got 5 more starts, and if the fellows have been getting me a few runs like I did the second half, I should end up with maybe 20. The first half, they were a little stingy in getting me runs, and I was unfortunate. I lost quite a few one-nothing ball games. But the second half has turned around. The fellows are giving me the run support, hit support that I need.
Right now, are you a strikeout pitcher? Do you try to strike out everybody that comes to the plate, or does it depend on the game situation? I know you have 230 strikeouts on the season.
Well, it's a situation a lot of times. I throw strikes, and if the fellow misses the particular pitch that I throw, and he strikes out, well, I just chalk it up to a moral victory for myself. And I might average maybe 4 or 5 strikeouts a game, but I don't try for strikeouts unless the situation comes during the ball game.
What about manager Leo DeRoche? What kind of manager is he?
He's a good manager. He knows young ball players, and he tries to bring out the best in their ability, and he sticks with you even though you might make a mistake your first or second time up in the big leagues. And he's the type of manager that wants young ball players to do the job, because if he's got a young prospect, he'll work them to his best ability.
Just how much has Joe Becker helped you out?
Well, Joe Becker's been a great help. He's been more or less an instrument in my behalf, because he's got me those starts when I've needed them every third day, which keeps me in real good top condition. And he's the type of fellow that told me the first year that he was going to make me $1 million, and so far so good. He's got me the opportunity to pitch, and I might get 40 starts this year, and I might win 20 again, and might have another good contract.
Now, Scottsdale, Arizona is up and coming as the season ends. Where do the Cubs look for improvement in 1969? How do they shape up against the rest of the league?
Well, they might not shape up quite as well, or the other teams might shape up quite as well. The Cardinals are going to probably lose a lot of bench strength that they have. The Giants might lose a bit. Our club right now, we have the front 9 and about 7 or 8 pitchers that we're going to protect. We might be basically the same team, because right now we didn't have that strong a bench, and we only acquired Regan in the bullpen. We needed him, and he might be a big asset for us next year if he can come back and have the same season he had this year. Ernie Banks, they said he couldn't do it again, but he's done it again. I hope he has another good year. Billy Williams is having a good year. Becker, these fellas, if they can come back and have good years, and if the Army doesn't take a couple of fellas like Holtzman and other young fellas from us for a certain length of time, we should be right back up there again.
Mr. Banks is really quite a fellow, isn't he? Does he keep the spirits high in the club?
He's got a happy thing to say every day. He's the type of fellow that comes out to the park content, wants to play ball, rain or shine, wants to play 2 or 3 games a day, and he gives you 100% all the time.
Well, next year, I suppose he'll hit 500 home runs if he gets 27, of course. He's getting up there in age, but he doesn't look it.
Well, he's got 30 now, only got about 13 or 14 games left, so he might possibly hit maybe 5 or 6 more. The more he hits this year, it means less next year, so you never can tell. He might end up receiving maybe 40, and he'd only have to maybe hit 22 or 23 next year to round out his 500 mark. But you never can tell. He's the type of fellow that gives you 100%, like I said before, and he might come back with another 30 home run year next year.
Fergie, you have problems with the gopher ball. I know you give up that home run ball. What exactly do you throw?
Well, the last couple of games it's been the fastball, and in Wrigley
I know
Field,
Saturday them home runs were all wind blowing.
Yeah, well, that's a factor here. The wind always blows out in Wrigley Field, and you hit the ball good to the outfield, and it's going to carry into the seats. This is a big factor. If I was in a different ballpark, I wouldn't give up half as many home runs, but it's just the fact that
it's a tough park to pitch it.
Right, Wrigley Field has the wind. I think I've given up 5 home runs on the road, and the other 18 have been here in Wrigley Field. So it's definitely a hitter's ballpark.
So next year probably will be the year of the Cubs. I hope so, anyway.
Well, we always look forward to being a year for the Cubs. If we can start off good like we started off in '67, I know this year we couldn't win 3 or 4 games in a row, and this is what definitely hurt us. Then in the second half, after the All-Star break, we came on with 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 game rallies, and we moved right up from last place right into second. And I think this is a big factor. If we can start off the '69 season and start winning consecutive ball games and get up in the standings and not have as many losses in the loss column, we're going to be right there the whole year.
Mr. Jenkins, I'd just like to ask you, what is involved in charting the pitches? A lot of times I see you sitting in box seats charting pitches.
Well, this is done by the starting pitcher that pitches after the pitcher which is pitching that certain day, and he charts fastball, curveballs, sliders, what particular pitch certain hitters hit and where they're pitched, and who feels certain balls. You chart this and you try and stay to the game plan in which the pitcher ahead of you pitches, and if you have good success with that, you try and almost simulate yourself to the same situation. Try and pitch almost the same ball game, unless it's a left or a right-handed pitcher.
You came to the Cubs from the Phillies along with Adolfo Phillips, and Adolfo Phillips, I know the Cubs have high hopes for him, but this year he's having sort of an off year, and I know he has the talent, and he could be another Willie Mays, but does he have the right attitude?
He's got a good attitude towards the game. A lot of times it just takes that 2 or 3 days to come out of a slump or just to find yourself, and it took him a little while. He's come on now. He's started to hit the ball since the second half started. It doesn't take much for a pitcher, for a ball player to get in a slump and stay in it for a little while, and then once you're out of it, never go back in it. Pitching's a similarity, almost the same. Pitchers get in a slump where they go 2 or 3 innings and they can't just find the pitch that get them out of the inning, and unfortunately they give up quite a few runs. But all players fall into a slump at one certain time during the season, and if you find yourself, you might never go back into it again.
Right. Now, what do you plan to do in the off season? I know you're going to probably play a little basketball with the Globetrotters. They tell me Meadowlark Lemon's quite a good hitter.
Yeah, he hits a home run off me every night. When I was pitching with the Globetrotters and playing about 3 or 4 minutes a night, I was in a few skits, but right now I think the month of October I'm going to go home and do quite a bit of hunting. I do a lot of duck hunting in the off season, and maybe the latter part of December do a little rabbit hunting, but I might maybe say the month of November do a little globetrotting, maybe a month or so, but other than that I'm going to take a long rest and stay with the family.
And then it'll be on to Scottsdale, Arizona. What exactly do you work on when you go down to Scottsdale? The fundamentals of the game?
Well, all the pitchers and regulars work on the fundamentals. I think my biggest asset is getting my legs into real good shape, and I try to keep my body in good shape the whole year. It doesn't take me long. It takes about 2 weeks of running to get my legs in good shape, and I think this is a strong point to my factor because I've never had a leg problem, and I try and keep them as strong as possible because legs and body are almost 100% of pitching. In a way, it's about 20% mental and 80% physical.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jenkins. I certainly enjoyed this, and I wish you the best of luck next year. I hope the Cubs win the pennant.
Right, thanks a lot.